In light of the new season of Bleach, 1,000-Year Blood War arc only being a couple months away, and the sudden rise in popularity of anime to more mainstream audiences, I thought we'd put together a video to introduce new anime fans to one of the famous big three, Bleach. Bleach is an anime that follows an action-packed story of self-discovery for our main character and protagonist and favorite substitute Soul Reaper, Ichigo Kurosaki. At the start of the series, Ichigo is characterized as a delinquent 15-year-old high schooler because of his appearance. His orange hair and fearless attitude would often get him into conflict. But under the surface, he was a young guy with a decent sense of justice and morality. We see plenty of examples of him displaying these qualities early on, like when he fought a group of bullies for his friend Chad. The theme of protecting others and discovering who he truly is a constant throughout the series and establishes that Ichigo is a much deeper character than viewers initially believe. Okay, let's talk main cast. First off, Ichigo's family. They consist of his father Ishin and two younger sisters, Yuzu and Kari. All of them have a very unique, lighthearted dynamic with each other and often provide comedic relief. But they're not just surface level characters. The show adds depth to them through character development, unveiling powerful secrets, and illustrating how each individual has to cope with and handle with the untimely death of Ichigo's mom. Okay, next is friends. There's Chad and Orihime, Ichigo's closest friends, Rukia, a Soul Reaper sent to Karakura Town, Uryu, who is introduced as a rival and a Quincy, but later develops a friendship with Ichigo, our shopkeeper and first mentor to Ichigo, Kisuke Urahara, and finally, Yoroichi, our second mentor. You've probably also seen this character cosplayed at DreamCon by a certain someone. Anyway, there's definitely more, but you meet some along the way, and we'll leave them for you to discover on your Bleach journey. For a while, Bleach is a run-of-the-mill shonen anime. Ichigo gets powers, kills evil spirits called hollows, and gradually gets stronger, all while balancing everyday life. However, things turn from the worst when two Soul Reapers are sent from the Afterlife, otherwise known as the Soul Society, to capture Rukia for her execution. What's even more surprising is the two that are sent, Byakuya Kuchiki, her older brother, and Renji Abarai, her childhood friend. This sparks our first high-stakes point in the series, and the gang sets off to save Rukia. Now, if you've seen Ichigo, you're probably wondering, what's that big kitchen knife on his back? Well, that's his sword. It's called a Zanpakuto. Zanpakuto are the main weapon for Soul Reapers. They're used to purify and send souls back to the afterlife. They're also used for general combat, and they're the manifestation of the owner's souls. So while they are weapons, they're also living entities. The more a Soul Reaper cultivates a relationship with the sword, the more powerful they become, specifically unlocking various forms and abilities. That being said, Bleach battles are fun and interesting. The choreo can be good at times, especially in later episodes, but often fights are used to provide insight into characters or show a clash of ideals. The series also provides clear markers for when it wants to get serious. The most obvious example would be weapon transformations. Zanpakuto are known to have two transformations, or releases. The first is known as Shikai. To unlock this ability, a Soul Reaper must learn the name of their Zanpakuto and perform a specific command to activate it in battle. This is generally a prerequisite for most seated officers. All Lieutenant and Captain class Soul Reapers must unlock Shikai to advance. Well, unless you're Kenny. The second release form, or awakening, is called Bankai. Bankai is the strongest form and is considered a level of true mastery over one's Zanpakuto. Oftentimes, we see characters interact with their Zanpakuto spirit. Bankai is also a requirement for all Captain class Soul Reapers. In essence, when you see one of these, it's getting good. Unless you hear Hiho Zabumaru. You may have heard me mention lieutenants and captains a lot. Well, that's because the Soul Society has 13 core guard squads, basically the military of the afterlife. Each squad has a couple hundred Soul Reapers, around 3,000 in total. And at the top of every squad, there's a captain with a lieutenant that assists them. So rule of thumb, captains wear white jackets. White jackets. Christian, zoom in on my white jacket. White jackets. Please remember, white jacket equals strong character. Well, most of the time. Last but not least, the most prevalent antagonist in the series. Well, at least at first. Hollows are human souls that have been corrupted and are now driven to devour other souls. They have multiple forms with varying degrees of power, but to keep it simple, the most dangerous are the Arrancar. My personal favorite is Grimmjow. All in all, Bleach is a good story that introduces a large variety of characters and powers for you to stand. First-time watchers, you'll experience shocking plot twists, emotional backstories, and one of the best OSTs in anime. Bleach is possibly my favorite of the big three, and hosts some of my favorite characters in anime. So what are you waiting for? The journey of Ichigo Kurosaki is almost complete. Hurry and catch up!